It's my life. I'll do what I want.
Hey everyone, and it is time for video 4, season 1, episode 4 of How to Get Away with Murder. Of course, I'm going to do my entire recap of the entire episode, all of my new theories and plots and decisions and everything like that, and give you a full recap. So we're going to get into this video because I'm not going to waste any time. While the day is great, why not talk about it? Alright, the very first thing that I always go to is always the flashbacks. So, with the flashbacks that we got from this week, let's see. The very first one that we are introduced to is the one where everyone's in the office, in Miss Keaton's office. Her husband's on the floor, and everybody's like standing around trying to figure out what to do. So Michaela's still in this corner. Sorry. Michaela's still in this corner, and she's trying to compose herself, I guess, mentally. And while all of them are in the room, because everybody's there except Asher, and while they're all in this room trying to contemplate what to do next, Asher comes knocking at the door. So he's like, I know you guys are in there. I know you guys are in there. You need to come out of there. What are you doing in this office? Like, and they don't want to let him in. They try to be quiet, to act like nobody's home. But he knows that they're there. He won't leave. And he even makes a mention that he wanted to get his trophy back from Michaela. Like, she had it. It was his, and it was time for him to get it back. For some reason they took it, so we don't know what's going on there. Everything was really related back towards Connor. They show him doing two things. First thing was, as they were driving to go get the lighter fluid to burn his body, he's like, he has this entire monologue, and you could tell he's like losing his mind because it's really getting to him. For some reason this man is dead, and now they're all a part of his murder. Whether they did it or not, they're law students. They all know that they're a part of it. So he's like, besides the point that he's dead, our evidence is all over his body. The rug is like, the fibers from the rug is deeply woven into his car. The cameras, like as they're driving to this place, there's probably cameras capturing their every move. Like, so it's like, what is even the point now? Because they know that they're so dead caught on this entire situation. He is just like, he's just going off, and they just want him to shut up because, you know, they're all feeling pretty guilty. You could tell he was losing it. And then they also showed him after they burned his body and, like, you know, the fire went out, he was beating him with a shovel. I think it was a shovel or a stick. Like, you could tell he was like crushing the body up, and I think that was because they were putting it in bags to like relocate it to a different place. But they didn't say anything after that whether or not it was actually relocated, because, you know, everyone kind of acted like they didn't even want to put the body in bags. I mean, flashbacks to flashbacks. Alright, Mr. West. Miss Keaton is kind of really, like, on top of his head because this girl has confessed that she did this. She murdered Lila Strangard, whatever her last name is. Y'all know I'm bad with names. She's confessed it to it, so she's, like, on top of West's head. Okay, she's like, is there anything else you are keeping from me? Because the thing is, when they finally kind of got to the girl where she got comfortable enough to sit there and actually speak with Miss Keaton and Bonnie, when she actually got comfortable with them to actually talk to them, she's like, yeah, Wes told me that he was blaming everything on me, that the boyfriend was blaming everything on me. So she's like, oh, okay. So now Wes she's like, is there anything you're not telling me? You gotta tell me everything. And he's thinking, like, I still got this phone. This is Lila's phone. No, I don't have anything else to tell you. I told you everything. He's lying the whole time. He still has a phone. He's not telling her that he has the phone. She's like, you know what? You're off the case. You will not be a part. You can't talk to her. You can't look at her. Don't speak to her. Don't walk past her. Don't open the door for her. Don't feed her. Don't do nothing to her. Don't even look at her. Like, swear. You better not have any kind of contact with her. So he's like, okay. So she kicked Wes off the case. He cannot work on the Lila Strangard case at all. He cannot speak with Rebecca at all. What's the very first thing Wes goes and does? Goes and has a conversation with her. I'm like, did he just tell you? And then first thing he says to her is, hi, I'm not supposed to be talking to you. So why did you even open up the door and start talking? Like, why are you having this conversation right now? I cannot for the life of me understand him. It ended up working in the end because he talks to her enough where she begins to trust him. Right? The fact that she trusted him and the fact that he had Lila's phone and the phone came from Rebecca, he knows that she knows the password to the phone. So now we finally come to a point where she actually is trusting him that Miss Keaton is there to help him and not hurt him, and he is there to help her and not hurt her. She finally gives him the password to the phone. After that is all and done, he is then able to give Miss Keaton the information. He's able to give her the phone and the password to it. He ended up getting the information that he needed from Rebecca, that ended up helping Miss Keaton in the end, and we'll get to that in a minute. Alright, Miss Laurel. Of course we know with Laurel and the Frank situation, Frank really wants to get with her. Of course, the only reason why she's on the team is because Frank picked her, because he likes to sleep with the interns. But it seems as if Laurel kind of knows that, and she's trying to be different. She's trying not to go down that path. So she's constantly trying to prove herself. The guys, all of them that work there, they all go out for drinks. Not Bonnie and Frank, but the other 6 interns. 5 interns. They go to catch some drinks, just, after work, late, whatever. And so Frank finds out that they're going out. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna meet up with them and, kind of try to surprise her. So meanwhile, Laurel's there and she's at the bar, and this random guy comes up, has a conversation with her, and she's just talking to him. And then he kind of goes off. While he's away, Frank walks in and he, grabs a drink and tries to catch up with Laurel. But before he can get to her, the guy comes back, and she's chatting it up with him. They're kind of hitting it off, and of course he's instantly jealous. Now Connor, of course, sees him leave and walk off. You could tell he's completely jealous. So later on in the episode, when this guy comes up to help them with this new case that Miss Keating has, he's helping her with the situation, and it's really a friend of hers, or maybe a relative. I'm not sure, but the guy comes in and he helps him out, and of course Frank is completely jealous. So he's like, why don't you get your little boyfriend out of here, and da-da-da-da. And the guy was like, well, I'm glad that he thinks that I'm your boyfriend. Okay, I'll see you later, Laurel. And it's so funny because it seems as if he might have kissed her on the lips, but they shot the angle of the kiss from behind their head so we can get Frank's reaction to them in front of him. So we can't see the actual kiss. We don't know if he kisses her on the cheek, on the lips, or whatever, because the purpose was to show Frank's reaction to the kiss, not necessarily to see the kiss. You can tell Frank is so jealous. First off, she's here to work. She's not here to be your girlfriend. She's not here to get you off. She is here to work. Why can't you just find a nice girl of your own? Why do you need to hit on every intern? You just gotta get with at least one intern. Everybody's grown. I understand that. It's a free country. Do whatever you want, but the girl's not interested, and she doesn't want to pursue that. Even if she is interested, she's not trying to pursue that. Leave her alone. Just leave her alone, Frank. Frank. Come on, Frank. Leave her alone. Honey, Annalise Keaton is just the greatest thing. I'm going to save the best part for the end because it was at the end of this episode. So, what we clearly see is that, she's taking on this case. So now it's like these 2 cases are kind of happening at once. It's kind of seemed like we're kind of catching up with the flashbacks and the current time. They're kind of meeting towards the middle. So, she's taking on this new case. But it was with the old client of hers, a client that she's had for years. So there's insider trading. The same thing that got Martha Stewart locked up for 3 months or something like that, or 3 years. It's the exact same thing. In the meantime, Miss Keaton's husband, Sam, he is going off to work. So he's about to leave for work. While he's about to leave, her ex-boyfriend is going through his car because he knows the truth. That his alibi is not checking up. He's really trying to piece the whole thing together. So he had to break into his car. So while he's breaking into his car, Bonnie pulls up and witnesses the entire thing happen. So he's looking through his stuff. He's checking his phone, and there's some information in his phone that's not coming up correctly, or his GPS that is not not adding up with the whole thing. So as he's looking through that, So by the time he can like get done, he sees him coming out of the door. He's walking towards the car. And so he comes out of the car and he's next to it like he was a jogger. He was like, yeah, I'm just going for a run. I saw that your light was on in your car. I didn't want you to, I didn't want it to, burn your battery out. He was like, oh, thanks, guys. He's like, hey, don't think I'm trying to steal your car or nothing. He's like, oh, no, I wasn't thinking that, but thanks a lot. So the whole time, Bonnie's watching the entire thing. The entire freaking thing. She doesn't even tell Miss Keating. She knows that that's Miss Keating's. She knows that's the guy. Yeah, I don't think she knows about the relationship between them, between Miss Keating and the boyfriend, the detective. But she does know that that's the same detective that was on the case, on the previous case that she put on the stand. So she goes to his officer, his boss, and is like, how do you have Rebecca on trial for this case with the Lila girl being dead? How do you have her on this case and you're charging her with the crime as if she did it, but you still have your detectives looking into some other possible suspects? This doesn't make any sense. So I know that that's going to play back on the detective very badly, because he's told Miss Keating that the situation is done. Your husband's alibi checks out. He was at the school. Nothing's going on. But now Bonnie has went and told his boss that somebody on your case is looking into it. Now from there he's going to go back to the detective, and then the detective's going to go back to her, which is going to cause her to go back to Bonnie. But it's going to be a never-ending cycle, and it's going to play badly. So all of that happens, and of course we know that she got Lila's phone. So at the very end of the scene, they're playing this song, and you just see Viola Davis just completely wiping off every inch of makeup that is on her. She took off her wig, honey, just let the natural hair flow. She wiped off every inch of makeup that she had on her face, and it was at that moment that she was like, dang, Viola, you old man. She looked a lot older. She really did. And it's just like, all of it, just, she's just wiping it all over her face. She just, lipstick, liner, foundation, primer, whatever she used, concealer, highlighter, contouring, all of it is gone. Lipstick, liner, chapstick, honey. If she put moisturizer on her face, all of it is wiped off. And then her husband comes home and he's like, hey, honey, da 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 da. She was like, okay, Sam, can I just ask you a quick question? The last 9 words of the episode: why is your penis on a dead girl's phone? I'm like, what? And of course she shows him, because she got, and it's not even said whether or not Wes actually opened the phone and found the picture. All we know is that she gave the phone to Miss Keating. And I doubt he even went that far to look at it. So whatever this information is, we know that he has had this relationship with this girl. We know that she is dead. And we know that there's pictures of him and his genitalia on her phone. What? 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 Okay, I'm not even ready for this. I don't even know what is going to come of this, but this is going to be an absolute mess. Now to the big boy of the entire episode, Mr. Connor. Now, of course, Connor is still having this relationship with the IT guy from the company from the first episode. His name's Oliver. But Connor wouldn't call it a relationship. Oliver, of course, thinks it's a relationship, that they are together forever, bonded, honey. And Connor is just like a hit it and quit it. He is not about a relationship. He's just like having his fun of being with this guy. So when trying to solve this case and finding out that the assistant did it, he knows that the assistant is gay, and he pursues him in a relationship. No, I take it back. He didn't pursue him for a relationship. He pursued him to sleep with him. So he sleeps with him to plant a bug to get the guy to talk about the case. He talked about the case, and they found out that he did it. The stockbroker lady that was charged for the entire thing, his boss, approaches him about the situation. She was like, why would you do this to me? I've taken care of you for 8 years. Your family disowned you. They could care less about you. I'm the one that's provided for you and made sure that you were on your own and up. I raised you like my own child, and you gonna do me like this? Like, how dare of you to even treat me like this? So he's feeling completely guilty. The guy opens up a window and just falls backwards out of the window and kills himself. You could tell he's feeling very, very guilty about it. And I feel sorry for him. But what I don't feel sorry for is the fact that this boy jumped out of, I mean, they had to be literally like 30, 40 stories in the air in a skyscraper building. Who has open windows in a 30, 40-story skyscraper building. Nobody has open windows. You could go to any skyscraper story building in this world. Not one of them would have an open window. The building does not want any type of liability for somebody to fall out of a window like that. Now, if you break the window open, that's a different thing. But you should not be able to just open the window and just fall backwards out of it. Come on, be more realistic than that. If he was going to kill himself, let this boy fall down the elevator shaft or something. Maybe the elevator didn't work. Maybe he just sliced his arm. Maybe we read about it the next day. He went home and killed himself. But no, he should not just fall out of a 40-story window at work. It just didn't make any sense. But he goes back to Oliver because of it, and he's like hyperventilating. He feels really, really guilty, and he's confessing everything to Oliver. So he has to tell Oliver that he ended up sleeping with this guy. So Oliver, of course, is, you know, upset about it, but he's not so more upset that he slept with him. He's more upset because Connor kind of finally expresses to him that they're not in a very platonic boyfriend relationship. He's like, you know, we ain't together. You know, I know you feel that way, but we're not together. We ain't together. You know, we just have a little fun. And I mean, Oliver is pissed. He grabbed all of his stuff and he kicked him out of his apartment. Because Oliver was all right to do that to him because Connor was just a complete butthole for even trying that. Like, I don't even understand why you, after you confess that you not only slept with somebody else, but that the two of you weren't in a relationship in the beginning anyway. Oliver was pissed, and I'm not mad at him. See what's gonna happen next episode. We'll see how everything will fall apart, how everything will come together. But we're going to see how everything happens. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so that you are fully informed, because we're going to figure this out together. I told y'all, we're going to get the end of this story. Honey, if I got to piece it together, if I got to walk on the show and tell them how it happened, we're going to figure this out together, honey. It's just going to have to happen, okay? So you make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to make sure that I keep watching. Make sure you keep watching. And we're going to do this thing together. Shout out to Brian B. But until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.